Hello class, this video is to show you how to recode variables. I'm going to use the big 5 data set. I'm going to go to where I have, the data sets, the example, research papers that people have done. Well, not people, researchers. I'm going to click on the code book. So there are a couple of items that need to be reverse coded. This is also called recoded. So what does that mean? It means that the scale goes in a certain direction, like I'm the life of the party. So the E is for extroversion. I'm the life of the party. That sounds like it would be. But if you read the next item, the one that needs to be reverse coded, it says, I don't talk a lot. So that's actually going in the opposite direction of what this survey is trying to capture. I feel comfortable around people. And then this one needs to be reverse coded. I keep in the background. So people, again, researchers like to reverse code items, usually just to see if subjects are actually paying attention to what they're responding, or maybe they just want to see if this item specifically actually goes in the opposite direction of what we are studying here. But we need all of the items in the same direction when we actually do the statistics. So I'm going to show you how to reverse code those items. So we're going to do E2. That's our first example. Make sure you point to that column, otherwise it's going to create the new reverse coded item at the end of the data set, and it can be a little bit confusing. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's easier if you have them like next to each other. So I point to that one by putting the arrow here and actually clicking on it. I'm going to go to data. I'm going to go into transform, and it immediately gives it a new name, E2, and then it puts parentheses 2. So I'm going to put an R in front of it. You can be even more descriptive, like write the whole thing, reverse E2 or whatever. I just like putting the R so I can see it here in the name of the variable, and I can distinguish the two of them. I'm going to hit enter, and you can see how it already put the R in there. So now I'm going to actually do the transformation, create new transform. So source is pointing to whatever variable you have here in source variable. For me is E2, which is exactly what I wanted. So let's go back to my transform, edit. So my scale goes from 1 to 5. You can actually do descriptives just to make sure it actually goes from 1 to 5. I already know it does, but you could have a situation where you have a scale that goes from 1 to 7. So I recommend you run descriptives before you do your recoding. So what I want to do is I'm going to go 1 above 5. So I'm going to go 6 minus source. And then what I want you to do before I hit enter is to watch this column. So 1 should turn into a 5. 3 is actually going to stay the same. 2 is going to turn into a 4, 1 into a 5. 5 is going to turn into a 1. I'm going to hit enter now. Oh, it looks like it worked. There you go. What I recommend after you do a transformation is to always just spot check a couple of rows to make sure that it actually works. So essentially you always have to go 1 above the highest value. If you had like a scale that was 1 to 7, you would have put here 8 minus source. So what it's doing here is that it's doing 6 minus whatever it's in this column. So minus 1, that turns into a 5, which is exactly what we have over here. I have, well, let's not do 3, let's do 2. 2 here, so it would be 6 minus that 2. That gives me 4. And that's exactly what that 4 is. Again, make sure this source is actually the variable that you want to recode or reverse code here. Otherwise, it will do wonky things. So once you already have your transformation, you can use it again in a different column. So I want to transform E4. So I select it by pointing to the column, go transform, and there should be a list of transformations here. So far we've only created one. So I'm going to use transform 1, click. And it already created that transformation. Now let's do multiple columns at once. So I'm in a Mac, so I'm going to do E6 and E8. I'm going to do select and then command and then select E8. So I press command throughout the whole thing. Then I'm going to go into transform and I'm going to apply the transformation. And you can see it did the transformations correctly. So I was not creative when I created my transformations, but you could potentially like call this transformation reverse coding if that helps you, if you have multiple transformations, and it will help you like remember which one is transform one, just to keep things tidy.